Thank you. So yeah, the correct answer is, oh, actually it's not TT. So why is everyone saying TT? Ashkan is correct. TF. Ashkan, do you want to volunteer for this?
Okay, yeah, the first one is true because both of them are not really good for quantitative comparisons. The second one is false because it says angles, areas, and arc angles or arc lengths, but donuts don't use areas. So it's typically angles and arc lengths, right?
Yes, for donut charts, yes. A round of applause for Ashkan. So the word heavily is really the word that makes this wrong. It says both visualizations heavily use these three, but for donut charts, we know that area is not used heavily when we want to decide which one is bigger. It's mostly arc length. But for pie chart, yes, you can argue that they are all heavily used, depending on how you want to look at it. So the word heavily is the one that makes it a false statement. And we discussed this when we discussed donut charts, and we said, okay, what are the pre-attentive attributes when it comes to donut charts? It is similar to pie charts, but there are some differences. So the correct answer is TF. Let's go to the next question. This is another true-false question. Tableau can join two or more data sources just as a database to create a single table. That's true. Tableau can create worksheet-specific filters. This is true too. And you have actually done it. So this question, we are kind of early, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. We are deciding between tree maps and sunburst charts. You are gonna learn this week, but for the sake of the exam, the practice exam, I'm gonna go over it. In which chart type lower levels of hierarchy become larger and easier to find? That's sunburst charts. So let me actually quickly show to you. So here we have a sunburst chart. This is root. This is level 1. This is level 2. So as we go to higher levels, the area gets larger. So you compare the area of this design category to the corresponding area here. So this is a bigger circle. This is a bigger ring. Therefore, the area becomes bigger. So that's what I mean when we go in lower levels of hierarchy, the area becomes larger and therefore it becomes easier to find. Which chart type can handle more hierarchical levels of data? Again, sunburst charts. Because with tree maps, we decide on a real estate first, right? When you have a tree map, you have, so let me actually keep this open. When you have a tree map, you first draw a big rectangle. Then you go in detail. You go in level 2, level 3, so on and so forth. But the initial rectangle that you draw is the amount of real estate that you are considering for your tree map. Whereas with sunburst chart, the assumption is that it goes all the way to infinity. So if you want to add more layers, the circle becomes larger and larger. And with this example, I'm justifying the answer to this. Which chart type can handle more hierarchical levels of data? It's Sandberg charts because we don't initially decide the amount of real estate we have, which is not realistic, but conceptually it works. Angel, I don't know how many angels we have in the class, but one of them already contacted me and we took him into account. Are you a different another angel or you're the same? Okay, question number 4. Let's all spend a minute or two on this. We have this data set. We want to see which of these box plots is visualizing this data set. Think about it for a minute, then put your answers in the chat, and then we'll discuss. All right, you need to put your last name too. Okay. We are going to take you into account. And we are not talking about attendance right now. We are working on practice exam 2. So if you have issues with attendance, you can stay after the class and we'll resolve your issue. All right. Alan, do you want to volunteer for this question? You said D, and D is the correct answer. And other people too, they got it right. Do you want to explain why you chose D? Yes, yes. If you can put it in the chat. Yeah. A round of applause for Alan. So what Alan is saying is the median is 70 because the median is the average of these two. So with that, we rule out this guy and we rule out this guy. We are left with B and D. Now let's look at the median of the first half. The median of the first half is what? It's 65. Let's then look at the median of the second half. It's 74. So 65 and 74. Okay. The median of first half, the median of the entire data set, the median of the second half. No problem, Alan. So that was justification of why we chose D. What is the color scheme in the following visualization? It is not diverging, just like the quiz question earlier today. We only have one color, and we see that it can take any value. So it's sequential. It's not categorical. We don't have an exponential color scheme. We have this bar chart. Source is Microsoft. It's COVID-19 tracker. Yeah, these are countries that faced COVID-19 earlier, and of course, then it was all over the place. In US, it came in a bit later. I can't believe it's been 5 years. So which of these statements is true? The color scheme is diverging. No, that's irrelevant here. It's not continuous. So we have multiple categories. So this is irrelevant. The data set could be better presented using a heat map. No, with heat maps, we are going to have a hard time performing between category comparisons. So heat maps are good as a supplementary chart, just like those charts where we have circles. For example, the one from the State of the Union, where US economy was being compared against China. This set used for this chart considered as ordinal as it has ascending order. No, it is quantitative. Can take any values. And we can say from here, it can take any values. It is quantitative. So the only one remaining is this one. The visualization clearly illustrates the confirmed cases in the part 2 whole aspect each month. So for example, here we see that US has none, but starting here, US is a bit. And here we can see that US is almost 40% of the whole number of cases in the world. Right? And in China, it went up and then it went down slightly. So compared to the whole, it became smaller because the whole was becoming bigger, but this remained either the same or got smaller. I'm talking about this color here. I don't know if it's cyan or what. So part 2 whole is doing its best, this chart, right? That was question number 6. This is a repeat of a question that you have seen in one of the quizzes. Which group of charts are suitable for part 2 whole comparisons? Part 2 whole, not part to part or between category comparisons. It's number 1. Okay, for part 2 whole, bar chart should not be one of the answers. So you can eliminate these 3 answers. And histograms are irrelevant here. With histograms, we cannot do part 2 whole, nor can we do part to part. It's for something else. So stack bar chart, since the bars are stacked, we can kind of guess the ratios and what portion of the whole a specific category or the addition of 2 categories make up. Pie charts, we already discussed in the quiz how they are good when it comes to part 2 whole comparisons, provided the number of categories are small. And tree maps. Tree maps are good even when your data is not hierarchical. You have a bunch of categories. The top left rectangle is the one that's larger in value. The bottom right is the one that's the smallest, and the ones in between. So with that, we are looking at the areas of rectangles. So we can to some extent say that the largest category, the top left rectangle, is what percentage of the large rectangle of the entire real estate. So in that regard, tree maps are better than bar charts. We don't need to do a lot of visualization, stacking up the categories and then finding out what portion of the total we are talking about. With tree maps, that's already there. So they are relatively good. Not as good as stack bar charts and pie charts, but they're definitely one of the good ones when it comes to part-to-whole comparisons. Here we want to see which of these bar charts has a better design. So we don't need these borders. So back in the day, these borders were automatically being plotted, but nowadays we try to avoid them. So we can automatically eliminate answers A and answer B. And then what do you guys think between C and D? Any other answers? So C is slightly better because the number is here. The presence of the number is not gonna hurt. In fact, it only helps. If we didn't have this, the answer would have been this. Because with bar charts, it's not mandatory that you put a number in there. But putting a number is gonna make it better. Question 9. What is the advantage of using a tree map over a sunburst chart? Actually, one of the advantages was what I just discussed, right? I said, even if your data is not hierarchical with tree maps, since it has this feature that the top left rectangle is the category with the largest value and the bottom right rectangle is the smallest, the one with the lowest value, we can represent flat data. It doesn't have to be hierarchical. Whereas with sunburst charts, the data must be hierarchical or else they become useless. It defeats the purpose because they are not space efficient. So the correct answer to this is number 1, the advantage of tree maps over sunburst chart. Okay, this we already had this in the quiz, so I'm hoping that you guys all get it right. How many levels do we have in this chart? This is a sunburst chart and this is a tree map. How many levels do we have? I know sunburst charts are still new, but I'm sure you can get it right. So here we have 4, right? Because we have to count this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What about this tree map? How many levels? Is it 1 or 2? So pretty much when you have a bunch of categories, there must be a parent category, right? Yeah. So you have the parent category, which is cities in India. And then level 2, we have these cities. So it is 2. So if I want to convert this into the sunburst chart, we have this white circle here, and around it we have this ring. So 1, 2. And here 1, the whole real estate, and level 2, smaller rectangles. So 4 for sunburst chart, 2 for tree map. All right. I think I went a little bit over time. My apologies for that. But the good thing is that next week we have more time to discuss the remaining questions of the practice exam. Um, so I don't want to take much more of your time. I'm gonna call it a day now, but I will be available if you want to chat.
Yes, question about
Have a great day, everyone. So,
about the counting, like the tree mat is the dark color and two and light color. Only two, right? For
no,
counting.
that's we are talking about the number of levels,
So
levels
how to
of
count?
hierarchy.
But how to count for the algorithm, like by the words or by the color?
No, not the words nor the color. So we have a large rectangle, the
Yes.
area that I'm enclosing right now, and we have small rectangles. So the large rectangle, this is level 1. Smaller rectangles is level 2, and I can actually further divide this, and that would be level 3.
But what is large? What's small? But how much difference? Like a 50% more or 100% more, something like that.
Let
Yeah,
me show
like
you another tree map.
what is considered small? What's considered like a 25% more? Or
No. So this rectangle,
yes,
so see what I'm highlighting now.
yes, that's the big one.
That's everybody, okay?
Yes.
So that's level 1.
Okay.
So if you want to map this to a tree, that's level 1, that's the parent. And then each small rectangle is level 2, regardless of the size, regardless of
Oh,
the name. So we are talking about levels. We are not talking about the number of categories. So here you have a lot of categories,
2 levels. Have many
whereas here
categories.
we have less categories. So if you have a hard time, you can convert that into a sunburst chart and then count from the middle, like 1, 2. If I want to convert this, I have a hollow dot circle here, and around it I have a ring with many categories. So this level 1, level 2.
So the sunshine come by rains. The tree mat is always 2. Is that right?
Starts at 2 because you always have categories and there is a parent to that categories. If it's colors, it's colors and then red, white, yellow, so on and so forth. Here, cities in India, that's level 1. Level 2 is these cities that are shown here, and these are not all the cities. These are just a handful of cities.
So level is by counting the range, the category counting by color for the sun chart.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. So you have seen trees in your data structure course, right? You have seen
Yes,
levels of trees. So whenever
yes,
you map this to a tree or you map a tree to this, you have a bunch of levels. For this is
yeah,
2, for this is 4. If you want to visualize this as a tree.
yes. Tree map is always 2, right? Tree map.
Not always 2. This one is 2. I can have more categories inside this category. In fact, let's look at the stock market. So here I have 4 or 3 levels because inside each of these segments there are multiple companies, right? It's
So
not always 2. It could be 3, it could be 4, but beyond 4, it's going to be hard to look at.
so do we counting by edges or the size different between the blocks?
No, you count by the number of levels that you see in here. We
Oh,
always
oh,
have a large level, and then technology, communication services, so on and so forth. That's level 2. And then within technology, we have another. We have software, semiconductor, that's level 3. And then within software infrastructure, we have Microsoft, Oracle, Adobe. These are level 4. So this has 4 levels.
oh, okay. I see. I don't know how to describe the algorithm. So counting the blocks. Like the block inside the blocks will be another new level. Something like that.
Exactly. So you
Yes.
map this to a tree, either in your mind or using a pencil and piece of paper, and you see how many levels it ends up having. Shamnav, you have a question regarding group project. Okay, you can wait. Okay. Angel, yes, you were counted. Other people, do you have anything urgent to discuss? Brian Perez, Fernando, Joseph, Rutik, Janelle. All right, you guys have a great day. We have to end this meeting now.
Hello, Professor.
Tushar,
Yeah, my attendance is.
but were you in class when we were taking attendance?
Yes, yeah, I was not there, sir, Professor. Sorry
Yeah,
for.
but I asked multiple times and you did not acknowledge.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right. I will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.